action.
All right, welcome. Great practitioners lose clients to mediocre ones with better marketing every day, and Strategy Cafe exists to fix that. Welcome to episode 14. I am Chris Thompson. I'm here with Timothy September. We're the co-founders of the Pykthos Mastermind, which is a coaching and community program that includes the software, done for you assets that you actually need to run your business. But these calls are never a pitch. We run Strategy Cafe to deliver value first. And if you want to learn more about the mastermind, head on over to pykthos.com. So every other Friday, we're live here. We break down what serious business builders actually do, which is build pipelines, automate follow up, make revenue predictable, start awesome conversations with potential clients. And this is, as I said, episode 14. So if you're on a replay, you can always find us live and sign up for these live sessions at pykthos.com/cafe. We send out detailed summary notes after every session, so you won't miss a thing. So that's a really good reason to go sign up. Let's get going. How you doing, Timothy?
Yeah, I'm doing awesome, man. I'm so happy and grateful that everybody's here and we've got more people trickling in, which is great. If you want in on this, by the way, because these calls are live and this is where you can get your answers, we would love to have you.
All right. So the way we're going to run things is we usually start with an idea of what we can talk about, but we don't want it to be about our ideas. We want it to be about your ideas and helping
Sure.
you guys. So use the Zoom digital hand raise under the reaction buttons and raise your hand. The best thing to do is if you have a question, raise it now. You'll have some time to think about the formulation of your question over time anyway. But that way, it really helps us budget the hour to know how many people want to ask questions and how much time we can allocate to each one. Now, if it's a bunch of shy people in the room, we're going to pull topics that we have in mind. But if you guys have a lot of questions, then please do raise your hand and be ready to ask them. If only, one or two people gets a hand raise, then they get a heck of a lot of our time. So that's great for them. But it's not great for you if you're just being shy. So do ask questions. You can use the chat as well, and it'll give us things to riff on. And that's pretty much where we're starting. So, shy people. I guess
Yeah.
we're going to start with the topic we have in mind because everyone's being shy today. I know some of you emailed us, so you have questions. So feel free to
Yeah,
let us know
yeah.
if you want to talk about them. Let's start it off though, and then we'll go right to Melissa because I do see Melissa raised a question. It is the start of Q3, and we actually did this on our mastermind call on Wednesday, right, Timothy? We
Yep.
were here with our Pick Those Mastermind members, a few of which are here on the call. You guys can wave and shout out. Um, every quarter, we start by reviewing what is important, what is the needle mover, what is the thing that's going to drive your business forward over the next 90 days. And we like to work in 90-day cycles. We were taught
Mhm.
that way, and we really love it because it's not so big of a picture that like, oh my goodness, the whole year, what am I going to do this coming up year? It's 90 days. It's long enough to make a difference, but it's short enough that it doesn't feel overwhelming. So you generally want to pick maximum three, but I would argue three projects. I would argue if you're a solopreneur or don't have a team working for you or anything like that, it's probably better to have maximum two or even just one project that you're working on.
Yep.
And what you want to do is pick that one project that's going to move the needle. And we did an activity 2 weeks ago with our mastermind members called a Constraint Diagnostic. Timothy, do you want to comment a bit about
Oh
just what
man.
we learned in doing that? We're not going to reteach you the whole thing here.
No.
It was something we did in the mastermind, but I think the value is what is it and kind of what did we discover in running this on ourselves and also having a bunch of our mastermind members running around
Yeah.
things that they thought would be the problem to solve that turned out not to be the problem to solve.
Yeah, well, I think it's really important for everybody to recognize that we also had this fault in our own, which is shiny object syndrome, right? Like we want to just implement all these cool ideas, but the problem is when you try to implement everything, you end up
Hmm.
getting nowhere. It's like having, like Chris often says, half-built bridges. So you never actually arrive at the destination. And when he's talking about moving the needle, this is what the constraint diagnostic is meant to show you. And so when we ran it on our own businesses, we realized that the things that we thought we needed to do, which might have been, oh, we need more leads, oh, we need to run more ads, we need to scale. In fact, it was the exact opposite. And one of the things that we discovered was retention. And retention is so important because that's how can you keep your current customers happy? And so when we ran this with our mastermind members, there's some in here, they also had these sudden conclusions of, these epiphanies, sparks of insight. And it's all because of that. And that's why we really say
Mhm.
every 90 days, just pick one or two things so you can still have the ideas, but put them to the side, just park them, and then just focus on the thing that's actually going to help your business.
Right. So I want to make sure we're being specific enough to help you guys listening, which is so here are the two things, and I'm going to add in a third that didn't actually come up because I think we did a good job of heading this off in the
Yeah.
mastermind over the last few months,
Yeah.
but there's a third one that's going to affect some of you. So stay tuned. So thing number one, most people thought they would need, like Timothy, you said, more leads or maybe run paid ads to get more customers, when in reality, the two things that people needed to do were number one, to actually start more conversations with potential clients.
Yeah.
Because they had, like in one case, we had a member who was doing a great job of lead generation through, I'll call it webinars. It wasn't, I'm not going to disclose enough detail here, but think webinar type of stuff, group interaction. And there wasn't a trickle through. There wasn't a process to get enough of those initial
Hmm.
group events to turn into conversations. Think like
Yep.
this. Think like Strategy Cafe, kind of a webinar. Think if we had lots of people coming out to this, but we weren't doing a good job of making sure that those events like this turn into, oh, Jonathan has some questions. Let's start an actual conversation with him. Oh, Rebecca's got some questions. Let's have a conversation with her. That wasn't happening enough. So a lot
Hmm.
of members realized, oh, I've got to start more conversations. It's not about more leads. It's about nurture the leads. It's not about, in other words, not like get more, think of think of a young man looking for a female companionship. It's not get more phone numbers. It's call people, like start
Yeah.
conversations, see what's a good fit, right? So that's
Yeah.
the metaphor for you. The second thing was in some cases, people were transitioning from one business to another, like, or one kind of offer to another kind of offer. And I think some of you on the call right now are in that boat. Raise your hand if that's you. And the thing was validate the offer. So some people were like, oh, I have to prove that I can actually sell the thing that I am intending to. Now that makes sense, right? If you were Steve Jobs back in the day and you wanted to know if an iPhone would be successful, you would want to validate it somehow. Now you'd want to do it in secret with your own employees and stuff like that because you don't want to reveal your competitive secrets. But if you come up with this, oh, this is the package I'm gonna sell. This is amazing. I'm gonna go build the website. Hint, that's what's the third thing coming up. I'm gonna go do all this work, but you haven't figured out if the offer sells yet. Now, Timothy, chime in on this a bit too, because you said on the
Yeah.
Wednesday call some stuff that really, really helped out. It's not about will people buy the thing that I imagine, will people want this problem solved? That's kind of obvious. You probably would never have come up with the offer if it wasn't a problem that needing solved.
Yeah.
That's wrong English. Okay, that needed to be solved. But so what is it that you pointed out? It wasn't about the offer, it's about you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all about making sure that the offer is actually going to work out, right? Because I think a
Yeah.
lot of us are too afraid to validate our offer, meaning that we're too afraid to ask people, "Hey, if I could help you with this thing, would you pay me money for it?" And
Yeah.
all of your audience, all your customers, potential customers, they only care about themselves. What's in it for them? And so if you have this amazing offer in your head of, oh, well, it's going to be 13 sessions over 5 weeks and we're going to do all this stuff, but nobody's actually willing to buy it. Well, what's the point of building the landing page and having all of this stuff and all the social media? So that's the first part.
Yeah.
The second part was, and there's one mastermind member here who I had this conversation with on the call, and it's this idea of, well, there are people though who are willing to buy stuff. There are like, no matter what the financial constraint people might be under right now, there are people spending money on the most ridiculous stuff. Like I just saw a guy coming back from the gym, he had one of those robot mowers out in his front lawn, and he was just having a great time with it. And some people go
Sitting
into
there having a beer watching his
yeah,
robot mow the
yeah,
lawn. Yeah.
literally, like he was just watching this thing just mow his grass, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But there are people right now who are going into debt, buying things that they don't necessarily need. What is stopping them from getting help from you? Well, maybe it's not the thing that you're selling. Maybe it's that you're not having enough conversations to validate that those people actually want it. So I'll turn it
And
back to you.
well, what I thought, okay, I thought you were going to go into is it has to be you developing the capability to actually sell it. So
Oh
validating
yeah,
the
there's that
offer
too.
is it's not, yeah, and that was the point. That was that you brought up. So, but I guess to you it was just so trivially obvious that
Yeah,
I'll
I
have to
get.
now point out that so it's not just will people buy this thing, it's can you be the one to make the offer. The offer is the offer you're making. So you have to
Yeah.
validate your offer, the way that you deliver the transformational messaging, right? It would be sort of like saying, can you deliver the change in hip, like if you're a hypnotherapist, can you deliver the change? Well, hypnotherapy can accomplish this change for the person, but can you do it? Do you have the skills, right? Well,
Yeah.
the skill of making the offer, having the conversation, refining that process for having the conversation is the same, just in a business sense, as the
Correct.
skill of becoming a hypnotherapist or coach or whatever you want to call yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to validate the offer, meaning you have to be the one with enough practice talking to people about it to be sure that it actually works, that you can deliver that goods. Otherwise, I'll slip into now the third thing. What business do you have spending money and time, let's say building a website all about everything you do? So we normally see this as a major constraint too. People think their constraint is I need a website, right, Timothy? What's
Yes.
the truth about that?
No, you do not need a website to make money doing this. You
At
literally just
least not
need,
your first step,
at
right?
least not,
Shouldn't be your
no,
first step.
no, I didn't. All I had
Yeah.
was like, well, back in the day it was Calendly. They're still around, but
Hmm.
we have that in our platform too. You just need a calendar booking widget and you just need to have conversations with people. Go on social media. Like if for anybody listening and watching, if you were to go into a Facebook group that like let's say it's for, weight management. Let's say that's your niche, and you go into the hundreds of Facebook groups that are out there and just look at how people are talking about their problem. And you just start having conversations with those people about the problem they have. You don't have to, don't pitch initially, just talk to
Hmm.
them about what they're going through. How do they talk to themselves? And then to Chris's point, are you comfortable enough to say, I can help you with that and it costs this much? You might
Hmm.
have the capability and skill, and you might have the certification that says you do. However, do you have the capability and skill to make the offer be confident and congruent? And this goes back to Mike's, the three C's, the Mandel Triangle. Can you confidently, can you congruently, and are you able to intuitively, but really it's it's a different C. Can you do that? That is really
Can you?
where
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, that's really where it comes down to is you have to be
Hmm.
the one to be able to confidently say, yes, I can help you. And it's this much. Are we doing this? Yes or no?
Yeah, no, just to be clear, Timothy is not suggesting that you go out and DM people and say, "Hey, I can help you, give me $5,000" or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
no,
No,
no.
obviously there is a conversation, there's an you don't say, "Hey, want to have kids on the first date?" Would be weird, right? So that's
Yeah,
the whole creepiness thing. You escalate the relationship naturally, but you start with a
correct.
conversation. And now, the reason we're saying that is a lot of people, we've seen so many people over the years that have come to us and here's my website. Oh, wow. It's not really specific about what you do. It doesn't really hit a niche. Yet it looks pretty. It's pretty, but it's not that functional, let's say, from a marketing standpoint. And then we'll find out the person spent, Timothy, you can remember one of our very earliest
Oh
Pykthos
my
members
gosh.
in somewhere in
Yeah.
Canada.
Like
It was like
$10,000. Yeah,
$12,000 or
something like
something.
that.
And it was like, oh my
It,
God.
it
Now,
wasn't even
these
that good of a website.
yeah. So here's what I want to say. Please don't spend a ton of money building a website if you haven't validated your offer. And
Mhm.
if you haven't figured out exactly what your ideal client is, you need to do an ideal client avatar exercise,
Yep.
then figure out how you're turning their problems into language that represents the transformation that you can sell. that you can deliver for them. Once you get comfortable pitching, hey, I can help you with this. This is how we work together, et cetera, then and only then does it make sense to go out and build, let's say, step one, which is just a basic booking call funnel. I mean, you could do that. It's a pretty trivial amount of work to build a little booking call funnel. We teach people how to do this in our mastermind with something called the Simple Machine, which we give you. But it's basically a landing page with your calendar on it and a video. It should be a video of you. Hey, I'm Chris,
Yep.
and I'm so glad you're here. When you, presuppose, book a call with me now, we're going to discuss the following things. It's not a sales pitch. It's to see if we're a good fit together so that I can help you with whatever it is, the transformation. We have a templated version of this to give you. That's easy, booking funnel. Only then, only once that's kind of up and running, you might want to have the digital billboard, which is a website. A website isn't really like a big super sales engine. That's usually what landing pages are for. But I would not spend a ton of money rebuilding a full-on website when you haven't solved the other problems first. So I'll wrap up with that. The constraint analysis will not ever reveal, oh, go build a website if you haven't done the other things first. So, and we've seen a lot of people make that mistake. So I wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. And the final thought, and then I think we should definitely hand it over to Melissa, just piggybacking on what you said, is even if you wanted to build a website, the more that you attempt to automate the entire step-by-step journey that your customer goes through, even all the way through to, well, they have to book and they have to pay me before I ever see them, you're doing it wrong. You're literally putting walls up in front of yourself, probably not because you think that you need the website and you need the automation and the everything. It's probably because you're too afraid to actually talk to the person because you're afraid of rejection. That, like, I hate to tell you guys this, but that is probably the one constraint. You need to have conversations with people, make the pitch and say, look, this is what I can help you with. Are you willing to pay that? And validate. You have to get the validation. Even if you get 100 no's, that 101st yes, that 101st conversation that gives you the yes is the validation you need, because it's going to increase your confidence. And you have to go through the no's. You have to go through the rejection. Yeah. No batter, no football player, no, American football, because, football, that no sports person has ever pitched or bat or did home runs or anything 100% of the time. Nobody ever, not even the greatest person in the world. So you have to realize it's not failure. It's just feedback. And if you make tiny adjustments while you're getting that feedback, you will be successful. You have to go through the trials and tribulations, though. You have to. Hands down. That is the one constraint I think most of you are struggling with.
Lecture over. There we go. No, I don't mean you, Timothy. I mean both of us and mostly me there. All right, let's move to Melissa, and then Rebecca, you're on deck. And let's talk to you guys and see how we can help.
Yeah.
Melissa, go ahead on you. I think you sent us an email.
Sorry about that, Melissa.
I did send you an email in hopes that I wouldn't have to show my face, right?
We're so happy and grateful you are, though. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you for sending the email ahead of time, because it gives us a chance to think about the question, and which I'm going to ask you to remind me, because I'm sure as soon as you remind me, I'll go, yep, I remember reading that. I remember thinking about it, because there were a few that came in, but then we can actually have a dialogue rather than just a asynchronous, let me push my thoughts on you.
Okay. Yeah. So I know as a master hypnotherapist and NLP practitioner, I can do breakthrough days. And I am really struggling to sell them, I guess. So I'm wondering,
I remember your email. So executives making, is it okay for me to recap?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure that you're cool with that. So I think your ambition was, I want to do breakthrough days. I want to split them up. Half the day we're going to do hypnosis, NLP, whatever the case may be. The other half the day we're going to start mapping out, which actually makes sense. Like, let's map out the next 12 months of your executive life. And I'm looking to sell to people making at least $250,000 a year, so they can afford to spend sort of 3, 4, 5, whatever the amount. Is that about right? Do I remember that?
That's precisely it.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
so compliment number one.
Yeah. First off, congratulations on doing high ticket. Amazing work.
Thank you. Yeah.
Plus, you're going after a niche now. you want to define the niche maybe a little bit more specifically, but a good filter. It's like a bunch of filters, right? A niche
Yep.
is you take everyone in the world and you apply filters. Well, do I want older people, younger people, English speaking, not English speaking, from a certain cultural background or a different one, or culture doesn't matter at all, tech savvy or tech phobic, I don't know, income, gender,
Yep.
whatever you want, career,
Yep. Career.
interests,
Yep.
beliefs. So there's all these things we can do. Kids, no kids. First filter, income. Fantastic. Because no question, somebody making that kind of money who says, like, okay, maybe they're a CEO of a small company, maybe they're middle management, maybe they're waiting on a promotion, and that can get them from doing $250,000 a year to $300,000-$400,000 a year. So your trivial fee of 5,000 for the day is going to be like nothing so long as they get the actual results. So the value is there. I like to think of the value needs to be at least 10 times what you're charging. Then it's kind of a no-brainer, and then it's incumbent upon you to push that message, right? But you have to have rapport with the person. And I do remember you said, I want to turn this to you in a sec because we need to know more about what's going on now. What I will say though is in your email, I remember you mentioning that how do you structure it so that people will see the value in doing this one day thing rather than the traditional multiple sessions? And how can you also structure it so that it seems like you're offering a lot more than just come talk to me for the day? What other sort of what we might call bonuses in marketing, although you would not want to use that term
Yeah.
in this offer, is like what other high value things can you add into the offer to make it seem really appealing? And in answer to that, before I just turn it to you, a lot of executive people, they understand the value of speed, right? So you could probably design in part of the conversation. You don't necessarily need to explain, although you can experiment with it. You don't have to explain that you do all of this in a single day. You
Okay.
can say that this is what you focus on. And then when you get the discovery call, you can start using kind of yes sets, hypnosis yes sets, to target the idea. Well, in business, we can have projects done. Would you rather hire the construction company that is going to take 4 weeks to pour the foundation for the house? Or do you want the guy that uses the technology that can do the thing in one day, right? They dig the hole, they make the mold, they pour the concrete, whatever it is, I don't know, come up with some cool metaphor, and it's done in a day. People pay more for that, right? So it makes sense. People want things done quickly. They pay for speed. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being very congruent in your mind about that. But I want to hear more about what's going on.
And then I've got some questions too. So go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, right now I'm basically just doing the 6 sessions, and and sometimes people like really draw it out, which is kind of frustrating, because time is valuable for both of us, and I really did decide that I want to do I want to focus specifically on the one day, whether it's 6 to 8 hours or not. But yeah, nothing is happening in regards to the breakthrough days. So that's where
Okay.
I'm kind of struggling to position it in such a way. But I like what you say about speed. Like that really, I can add that to like my
Yeah.
spiel, to encourage them to consider it.
I just want to ask one more question, and then
Yeah.
Timothy, go ask your questions too. When you say nothing is happening, you're telling me what isn't happening, kind of thing. Like what is happening? What have you done? What have you actually pitched in terms of this, and what are the resistance elements that you're hitting? Are you saying to people, "Hey, like I can do this thing. It's 8 hours. This is the way we work together," and they're saying, "Oh, what's the problem that you're
Well,
running
it's
into?"
it's interesting because what you said prior to me speaking was really kind of the part of the problem is that I'm not pitching it. I'm not having enough conversations around that
Okay.
specific offering.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you've
Okay.
diagnosed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That
Yes.
was well. So you said some other things that I thought was really interesting, Melissa. Is you said that you are getting people in your niche that
Hmm.
are buying the successions
Yes.
and they're drawing them out.
Yes.
And you're the one frustrated because you want to do these breakthrough sessions in one day.
Yes.
So you do have people paying you though.
I do. Yes.
So there is obviously people with the time, with the money, able to do this.
Hmm.
What is in it for you? Because that's the where I wanted to get to is it sounds like this is less about your clients and more about you wanting your time back.
100%.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be difficult to sell if you make the
Astute.
sales
Yeah.
point about yourself.
Right. No, no,
Yeah.
no. I obviously give options, right? And
Right.
if they choose to take the longer route, that's fine by me. It's just not really how I want to set up my
Right.
business.
Gotcha. So here's what I would do, and I'll give my explanation why. If I were you, I would actually make the breakthrough sessions way more than your 6 sessions, and
Really?
and
Okay.
here's why. And my wife is a licensed therapist, and she does EMDR, but then
Hmm.
she can also offer these things called EMDR intensives, and they're one day. And the way that you structure the EMDR intensive is however many sessions that it would have traditionally or typically taken to do the EMDR. Let's say for you, it would be 6.
Hmm.
Well, all you do is you consolidate how much that would be, and you say, well, look, typically it's 6 sessions over 6 months, and this is what we do, and it costs this. But if you want to increase and escalate so you
Yeah.
have your time back, then it's going to cost more, but that's because I'm consolidating all of our time and effort into a single day.
Okay.
Now, what you're doing is you're juxtaposing the time and the price versus time and price. If you only have one versus the other,
Yeah.
it'll be much harder to sell. It's
Hmm.
also going to be much harder to sell if you give them the option and there's no difference. Like, you know,
Sure.
Yeah.
so because then they're going to start questioning, well, why is it the exact same price? Sure, it's only one day, but if these 6 sessions over however many months are, if you're able to do that, then I still get the time with you. I actually get more value because I don't just get one day with you, I get 6 days with you.
Mm.
So now you're constraining how much time that they're getting with you. But, and here's the kicker, right? If you do that, then you have to make sure that you're selling the fact that they get their time back because lawnmower service people, right? They don't sell, hey, I will cut your yard today. They don't sell that.
No.
They sell, I will give you your Saturdays back so you can spend it with your
Mm.
kids.
That makes
That's
so much
that's
sense.
the positioning that they would use.
Hmm.
Like someone that sells shovels, they don't sell the shovel to sell the shovel. They sell to the person that wants to dig the hole. They
Hmm.
sell the tool to dig the hole. So for you executives, I would frame, hey, look, I have the 6 session thing, but it's going to take every Saturday that you have for the next 6 months. What if
Mm.
instead I give you all those Saturdays back and we get this done in one day? What does that sound like to you? Do
I
you hear
love
the
that.
Faster
you
momentum.
hear the
It's like
difference?
the supercharger path, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. Thank
I
you.
think I was thinking, I'm so glad you said what you said, Timothy, because, and I want to turn this back to you, Melissa, just for feedback. The idea of offering a double bind here comes to mind because you can currently sell your 6 session package. What you can start to do is in the conversation, introduce now the option. I have 2 ways that we can work together. You tell me which one seems more fitting to your lifestyle schedule budget. Here's option A, here's option B, right? Now you have now you have options. Now you don't have to wholesale switch your business model and go, I'm done with the multiples. Because that might not, like, you may discover this is a test, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Until it's validated, because you have
Yeah.
an unvalidated offer, we
Correct.
don't know. So we're actually perfectly in line with that constraint diagnostic conversation we just
Hmm.
had, which is figure out how can you have more conversations about this, but don't give yourself the risk of, I'm just going to lose the client. They don't want to do that. Present the
Yep.
two. There you go. Double bind. Do you want
Yep.
chocolate or vanilla?
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. That's why I asked you. Like, I just wanted to make sure that you actually had people in your niche buying now.
Yeah.
Because if you strip that away, all for your own convenience, you're going to damage your own income and your revenue, and that
Very true.
Hmm.
sucks.
Yes,
So
it does.
yeah, so stick with that, but also add in this other offer, and then see if it sticks.
Hmm.
All right. Yeah,
Yep.
I love
And
that.
I would leverage in, if you're going to do the big day thing, you could bonus it. A few years ago, Mike and I actually contemplated doing this. Mike Mandel and I, for like large, big Mike and Chris working together with a client for a day, exactly what you described. We were going to charge a lot of money for it, and we just decided we didn't want to do it. But we were thinking, you know what? You'd bring in like a person who would function as a scribe for the whole day, take detailed notes on things, and now you have AI tools that can actually take those notes and then make professional summaries, and you could lead people in. And I would offer some follow-up sessions. It wouldn't be just like a one and done. It would
Okay,
be
yeah.
mostly one and done. They would have to come to you for the follow-up, but I would include some follow-up in that offer so that you're not just working with them and then they're on their own. It's okay, working with you and then there's a tail off, but I'll
Mhm.
still check in with you along the way and make sure that there's follow up.
I like
That's
that.
what I
And
would do.
my question to you is, I know you mentioned AI, but so I would like ideally these to be in person, right? Because I
Hmm.
feel like that one-to-one connection is a
Yeah.
lot better when you're
Hmm.
together in 3D. Would you still record the session?
I would I would make it up to the client.
Right,
If they
yeah.
felt comfortable with it and you pitched the value, the reason I record, if you're okay with it, is so that obviously, I don't want to spend 8 hours going through the transcript, but I have a particular set of tools that I draw out the important moments and then I customize a plan for you, et cetera, that kind of thing. I think
Hmm.
most people who understand it would be okay with it. Other people are going to go, oh, I don't want that recorded. No problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. And I also thank you for the clarification around like, because I've been struggling with this too, having my 6 sessions the same price or different than the breakthrough day. But it makes, based on what you said, it makes perfect sense to have the in-person full day be like
Hmm.
double the price or
Yeah.
like at least a quarter of the price.
Yeah. And now
Yeah.
also depending on what you would like to have happen as well, I would actually flip them and see if that also works.
Mm,
And so I would raise the like going against what I said earlier, only because if you're wanting to get away from the 6 sessions, again, I don't break what's working now.
right. Yeah.
But you could also offer the one day less, and now you're just again that double bind, seeing if people even choose that option.
Hmm.
So I would try it the first way, and then if there's no sticking point, flip it because you might see that people see 6 sessions with you as more valuable than the one day
Very
versus the
true.
Hmm.
opposite. But again, because of like it's just marketing, you got to test, you got to try stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you could still frame the power day as
Yep.
a 6 session thing that gets jump started with the one big power day. And then in the pitch, it's like, and up to X number of follow-ups that are like 30-minute check-ins kind of thing. So they're not like
Mhm.
sucking up a whole bunch of your time,
Right. Yeah.
but that way you can justify a much higher price for the one day because it still is a package, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just time, it's
Yeah.
front end loaded in terms of your time. And that way it's front end loaded in terms of their results.
Yep.
Absolutely. I thank you so much. I appreciate this very much.
Keep in touch. Let us know how it
I
Yeah,
will.
goes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
All right. And let's go to Rebecca
Hello, Rebecca.
Hi.
at her cottage. I love it.
They're called camps up here, not
Ooh.
cottages.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I don't know where the line is where they stop being cottages and they start
I
being
have no
camps.
idea. We'll
Yeah,
call it whatever we'll
well,
call it a French poodle if we want. No, I'm
yeah, yeah,
kidding.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. I think
So,
camping is more intense, you know.
mhm. Ah, that's very good. All right. So, Rebecca, I remember your email. You're actually switching models entirely here now, are you not?
That is the intention.
Okay.
So yeah, so 33 years in therapy. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't know, Timothy, that your wife was a therapist too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's great.
So my specialization is trauma.
Okay.
So I'm a little tired, wanting to have a shift in focus to a more kind of coaching style, and just to get away from that trauma model.
Hmm.
And so I said in my email, so therapists don't have to really market themselves, right? It's
Right.
just, I mean, you put your name out there and your schedule's full.
Yeah, you mentioned that,
Uh,
with a psychology today, I wouldn't
Hmm.
wasn't sure if you meant a profile or actually posting content on there regularly. You could clarify, but that basically brought you in clients and kept your calendar full.
So between that, so
and referrals?
psychology today, it's most therapists go on there. I have for 33 years. So, yeah, and then it's just word of mouth, right? It brings people in and then it's so, yeah. So like I haven't accepted new clients for
Mhm.
quite some time now just because I'm overbooked.
Okay. And
So
Yeah,
then
it's not the
congratulations.
issue.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
now
Thank you.
and while you I know while you slide into describing where you want to go, can you also just give us a little bit of commentary on the pricing that you can command for that current business now? Can you raise it, or are you limited by insurance restrictions?
No, well, I can raise it. So
Okay.
So it's the clients usually pay out of pocket and then get reimbursed from
Okay.
their company's insurance. So generally in our field, it's around 150 to 250 an hour. So I
Okay.
charge 200 an hour.
Okay.
And I just raised that from 185. And but they've got a cap on it, right? So most people have, $1,000 available to them for psychotherapy.
Hmm.
Right.
So there's very few people that pay me without being reimbursed, like just out of pocket.
Right.
So that's my concern around coaching, that it wouldn't be covered by insurance companies through
Hmm.
benefits
Right.
packages.
Yep.
So I don't know about how to do all of this marketing. So I just put out like a bid on Upwork to build a website. Um, and I'm wanting to just focus on more like professional women.
Mm.
I'm
Hmm.
familiar with professional women, so entrepreneurs, coaches, therapists. I actually have 8 therapists who are clients. So uh,
That could be a great
and
niche.
yeah, it's niche. And then I've got all of this. I've been a hypnotherapist for 17 years. So I bring that in. Usually I use it around the trauma stuff, like
Hmm.
regression kind of things. I very rarely get people wanting, weight loss, anxiety. I shouldn't say that. I use hypnosis quite a bit with anxiety. But smoke cessation generally aren't clients of mine
Yeah.
in the
Hmm.
hypnotherapy. So, but I have all of these skills, that I can kind of transfer over because I'm still a licensed therapist. I can use the
Hmm.
EMDR
Yep.
and all of this somatic, energetic work, as well as the hypnosis. So it's
Mm.
just kind of my vision and being able to still use all of this stuff
Yeah.
in the coaching field.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Rebecca, first, I want to commend you for wanting to actually pivot. And especially because you already have a heavy client load. But I understand why you would want to pivot,
Yeah.
especially moving away from the
Yeah.
trauma-informed work and all that kind of stuff. So, still, awesome
Yeah.
job. The first thing that comes to
Thank you.
mind is about your ethics and your safety. And
Yeah.
one of the things that it can be concerning when you're wanting to shift and pivot away from therapy are the ethical concerns and the violations that might be around your licensing. And so moving to coaching, one of
Yeah.
the things that you want to protect yourself with is never telling your clients that this is a substitute for therapy and never presenting yourself as a therapist wanting
Right.
to do coaching because that could harm your license,
You
right?
mean almost
Right.
like brand
Yeah.
separation in a
Right. So
sense
you would
here.
actually
Yeah.
need, I would
Yeah,
open a completely
definitely.
separate business, like an LLC or
Definitely.
something, and
Yeah.
only do coaching only on your website, your
Yeah.
copy. Never mention therapy on there. You can mention that
That's
Yeah.
you're a licensed therapist and that's it. That you're
right.
only doing this because you just have your
Yeah.
license, but you only doing coaching.
This is
So
good
Yeah.
advice actually. And you're in Canada, so you'd want to have
check with your
LLCs
local
here,
laws.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
you could open it under your
Yeah.
Ontario corporation or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is like, like people have said, oh, maybe some of your current clients will want to come over to the coaching side. And I'm like,
Nope.
no,
Nope.
can't,
Nope.
even if they find me
Don't.
independently,
Yep.
can't do
Nope.
the convert.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm so glad
Yeah.
that you said that because that was going to be my next
Yeah.
point is like do not transfer clients. No, no, no. That
No.
is a no-no. So good
This is
on you.
that's really solid advice for people. I mean, even though Rebecca already knew this,
Yeah.
anyone else hearing it, it's like, okay, that's really useful. So yeah, you're really starting from a standstill. Now that's why I asked about pricing, because if you're in control of your pricing now, obviously when you raise your prices, some clients will fire themselves essentially because they have a cap of 1,000 a year or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it some won't. Some will say, you know what, she's worth it. I'm going to eat the out of pocket difference myself. And you just raised, you said from 185 to 200 an hour. So what I would suggest is well, let me ask you a few questions about time load because you're probably, my guess is, but I don't want to mind read, starting to feel a bit burnt out with the trauma and the number of sessions that you're just so close to other people's trauma and do want to do less of that. And
Yeah.
I imagine your income is capped based on the number of clients you can see at that
Yeah,
rate.
because I'm down to, I used to see 20 to 25 people a week, and I've cut down to 15.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Yeah, that is a crazy caseload. I'm surprised
So
you survived
yeah,
that.
that is a lot. Like 25. I
Congratulations
mean,
though, but wow.
like if you think about it, guys, right? That's if you take weekends off, which I imagine most people would want to do, that's still 4 to 5 client sessions a day
And that's
with
not
and
counting
with
the
any
notes.
breathing room between
Yeah.
sessions. You're
Notes
just living and breathing other people's traumas all day long. That can get tiring.
all day.
Yep.
Plus, it's a cap on your income. So
That's right.
even if you're making so let's just do the math, right? At 185 times, are they hour long sessions?
They're hour-long
Yeah.
sessions, so 185 times 15 is generally what I
Okay,
make a
so
week.
185 times
Yep.
15. Okay, so your weekly, yeah, that puts you at like that. So say 50 weeks a year, assuming you take a holiday, although you probably take more than 2 weeks holiday, I would hope.
I
But
take
anyway, it's a
7.
six figure, yeah, it's a six-figure income ish. Like it's over six figures.
Yeah.
Great, but you've freed up your time. How do you feel between the 20 to 25 and now, even though you've taken a pay cut, or maybe not quite that much of a pay cut because you did raise
Yeah.
your rates, but how do you feel about your life now compared to when you were seeing the heavier client load?
Oh, definite improvement.
Hmm.
Definite.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So then I would suggest experimenting over time with doing even more of that. Not necessarily cutting the 15 down, although you could, but what if you could go from 200 to 250 over the next 12 months? Something like that. Because then you're raising your rates another 20%, right? Or 25% in this case. This is the exact math. So what if that takes you from 15 clients down to 12? Same money, more free time. Now
Right.
you have more free time. Time is like if you're a finance person, you look at money as something you can invest and you can diversify it across an investment portfolio. Well, I look at minutes as your equivalent here. You're investing your minutes in whatever you want. You have to diversify your portfolio of time throughout whatever it is you want in your life. And some of us invest too many of our freaking minutes in working all the time. I've been guilty of that for sure. Anyone else feel that way? I definitely. I'm like, wait a
Yeah.
second, Chris, time to diversify your portfolio here
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
out more, take your wife on more dates, spend more time with your kids who are, young adults now and won't be living at home for that much longer, all those kinds of things. So I think you could reinvest some of your free time
Hmm.
in building this coaching practice that you want to build.
Right.
And you won't
Yep.
have to
Right.
sacrifice income if you raise your rates a little bit more. So that would be
Right.
my first thing to consider.
W-
Yep. Yep.
would you, when you were talking about website not being like the necessarily the first step, would you recommend that I do like social media kind of thing first and do a tidy cal thing and see if I can get some coaching clients, or is website the first
I would
a
not build
good
a
first
website
step?
first. How
No?
far down the road are you on? We have some diagnostic questions we often ask around this. So, how clear are you about the exact type of person that you want to work with in this new business?
I'm pretty clear.
Okay. Have you
Yeah.
documented it anywhere?
Documented how?
Like have you written down a document
Yeah.
saying like this describe, we
This
call
is
it an
my
ideal client
client. Yeah.
avatar.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
this is
Yeah.
my person. Because if you do that, then Um, we teach in our mastermind a lot of how to leverage AI tools to speed a lot of this work up. But
Mhm.
basically, if you can document very clearly what you want to do, then you can go, all right, cool. This is the type of person I want to work with. Now, where do they hang out? Where can I get exposure to them and start those conversations? And you can start
Hmm.
conversations by email, by phone, by text message, by direct message, in Facebook groups, in, whatever, doesn't really matter. And then you
Hmm.
need some way to send them somewhere. Generally, like any kind of booking, you can give them a, yeah, you said TidyCal, for example. TidyCal, Acuity, Calendly. Pykthos has calendar built into it for those of you who are considering joining. No pitch here. Anything, just giving them a way to link with you. Hey, book a time on my calendar, or you can do it old school. Hey, I'm
Hmm.
free like Wednesdays and Fridays, almost any time. You name your time, and we'll see if we can sync up. You don't even need a tool to do it, but you do just need to have the conversation, invite them into a Zoom room or something like that, and then talk to them and see if they're a good fit and make the proposal. Practice making the offer, validating the offer before doing
Yeah.
anything with a website. Because otherwise, like, where's the traffic even coming from? A
I
digital
know
website is
that's.
just the digital billboard, right? So
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
anyone driving by that highway that's going to care?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my concern. Like, how do I reach this population? I mean, I live near Sault Ste. Marie, right?
Hmm.
So it's limited.
And you want to go
My,
online with this, I assume, right? So you can do it
yeah,
from anywhere.
Yeah.
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 Can I ask who, because you said you do have an ideal client, who specifically do you want to work with?
So more professional kind of women, who have kind of reached their ceiling of, that they self-sabotage, they lose
Hmm.
motivation, they struggle with confidence, they kind of have capped out, they have relationship struggles,
Hmm.
they have sleep problems, you know,
Hmm. Okay.
that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that, yeah,
And you have you ever had any of these clients personally yourself? Like, have you actually worked with these people? Do you enjoy working
yes.
with them?
I do. I
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not going into childhood stuff basically, right? We're
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
doing more performative sort of things, stress management kind of things.
Yeah,
Um,
you're not fixing traumas as much as,
Yeah.
hey, here are the things where you could get a little bit better about your day to day, but then let's do a lot more of the generative change work that will get you to the past that ceiling that you're hitting.
yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that
Yeah.
doesn't, you can't really, people can't really treat that as psychotherapy. So
Right.
that's why it's a totally
Yeah.
different business model. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yep. Yep. So I would the best advice that I would give you, Rebecca, is instead of a website, I would put all of my time and effort, like Chris was saying, I would pick one channel. Where are these people probably going to live, right? In the digital world. I would look
Yeah.
at places like
Okay.
LinkedIn. I would look at
LinkedIn.
places like,
Hmm.
Facebook. Find the one channel that
Okay.
you are comfortable going to and start looking at how people describe these problems and then
Okay.
start having conversations because you need to validate before you build the billboard. You need to validate whether these
Hmm.
people would even be interested in something like this. Not saying they won't. It sounds like you do have a passion for it and you're, ready to do this. I would start looking for these people because what that's also going to do is when you have these conversations, you'll actually get the number that they would feel comfortable paying you for that. And the fact that
Right.
you already have a degree and you're not coming in just as a
Hmm.
certified person, but you're a therapist who has, 33 years of experience moving into this, you are the
That's it.
professional that also went through, your own I've hit my cap. Because when you
Right.
were describing this, I was like, oh, she's talking
It's
about
your hero's
herself.
journey. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
totally.
literally, yeah. So that's what I would do is where would you hang out in the digital
Okay.
world? And then go to those places and start finding the
Hmm.
people like you. And maybe it might be other therapists wanting to get out of their careers or something like that. you might have a niche already that you're talking to that you're unaware of. But
Right.
I would pick one channel
Right.
and I would just look and see where those people are. How are they describing these problems that you're talking about?
Yeah.
And then have
They
conversations.
LinkedIn, they may be on LinkedIn. What do you think about Reddit? You think, because a lot of anonymous people who have Reddit is the, anonymous capital of the internet, I suppose,
Yeah.
for real discussion. But I think that could be where, if you were a stressed out middle management hitting a ceiling executive and you don't want anyone to know your business. So you're going on
Yeah.
anonymously and reading stuff and posting stuff and asking questions and getting advice. So that might be one area. LinkedIn could be another, but that's a professional network. People aren't going to spill their guts on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So you might get
Right.
you might get the juicy nuggets to understand the avatar better on a place like Reddit
Hmm.
versus maybe you'll
Yeah.
find them on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. But you know what I mean? Like there's two totally different purposes
Yeah.
for the platform. As far as where you may advertise or where you may post articles, that would be where they hang out. Whereas where they spill their guts is a research platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think don't overinvest on a website at this point.
No.
Okay.
Get validate the actual offer, build your ideal client
Hmm.
avatar.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we could help with a lot of the
Yeah.
AI tools and speeding things up, but
Well,
that's
so
for
to
different.
to this last point, and then I'll either hand it back over to you, Rebecca, or we can move on to Claire. If you're wanting to get quick validation on where these people are, I would actually use
Yeah.
like either Perplexity or Google or any of the other like ChatGPT, Claude. And if you click on almost all of them, if you click on the little
Deep research.
plus, and then they have a deep research, and literally type in your ideal client, and then ask it, where would these people typically go? Where do they hang out? And it'll just start to, find all of the sources on where these people would be at. And
Hmm.
that might be enough for you to
Oh, that's a
validate
really
and
good
go, oh,
idea.
yeah. So there might be sources like, there's new social media things popping up all the time, like Blue Sky and whatever else, I don't know. And so you
Yeah.
you might you might end up finding that there is a platform that has been built that a lot of these people are on that that we're not even aware of.
Right. Right. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys. That's amazing.
You're
That's
welcome.
very helpful.
Yeah, you're
You're very
welcome.
welcome. Well, only two people, and until Claire came in, raised their hands, so you guys got the bulk of the time. We have a few more minutes before we will shut down the podcast portion, and then anyone who wants to stick around to ask us questions about the Pykthos Mastermind, feel free to do so. But while we invest the rest of our time in you guys, Claire, you're on the stage, or what's the word I'm looking for here? You're caller number three today. Hi,
Hello. Oh,
Hi,
how are
Claire.
you?
excited to be here on the show.
Good to see you.
Hi. So I jumped into something very interesting and I would like to make the most out of the investment I've already made. My brother happens to work at a farmer's market and was like, you should go. And so on Wednesday, after having paid a certain amount for a yearly insurance policy with additional insureds I can attach, I head to the market, have some cards, have some materials, make a small sampler list. Um, my stack of cards disappeared by the end of the day. Not a single
Great.
taker on any of the offerings I had there, which I think was all right, but it taught me some stuff. And it was also, it was like 100 degrees at the top of it. So even though one of the offerings was, I was gonna do like a beat the heat thing using glove anesthesia and the cold from that to just like spread it to the head and keep it there. But anyway, my point is, there's a lot of these farmers markets here all season, and there's also
Yeah.
craft fairs, and I really want to. I mean, the insurance policy was expensive. Using it only on like two or three of these markets would be a complete waste, and I really want to make the most out of, I guess, a farmers market funnel of some kind. Really understand
I
what
love
would
it.
be the best hook, the best offer, and how to turn those people into Instagram
Okay.
followers, clients, people who tell their
Yeah.
friends, etc.
The farmer's
Um,
market funnel.
Yeah, yeah.
Timothy, I think you're chomping at the bit here. Go
Oh
for it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've got tons of experience at farmers markets. The
Sweet.
So when you say Claire, I'm just going to ask you a couple like diagnostic questions first.
Mm-hmm.
When you said that your cards disappeared, were you exchanging them for like an email, or did you just have a stack of cards and people were grabbing them?
Nope, just had a stack of cards that people were grabbing them.
Yeah.
Exchanging for email would have been awesome. The
Yes.
an important thing to note is my online funnel infrastructure is pretty lacking at the moment. My focus there has been mostly on an Instagram, so I don't currently have any sort of nurture sequence, but it sounds like one would be in order.
Yeah. You
Like
could
just
do
like three
something.
emails would be take your
Yeah,
email,
I
get
mean,
sent
you
them
could do
through.
something as simple as like a Google form. It's completely free. It goes right into your Google Drive, and all you gotta do is ask for like first name, email. That way you can follow up with them. And then
Mm.
anybody that fills it out, you say, here's my card. Reach out and I'll give you a free quick chat, a free discovery call. So now you're getting the law of reciprocity. That way people aren't just taking them and you'll never hear from that person again because you have no way to contact them. It's only like it's like a one-way conversation.
So
Or it's
even though
like
the discovery call is just an offer, you frame it as I'm going to give this to you because you gave me your email, and okay,
exactly. Like,
that's
and you
great.
could even say,
Yeah.
I typically charge $20 for these, but if you give me your email, take this card, tell me that you have this card, and I'll give it to you for free. Like,
Anything that's a lead magnet, in fact, here would
yeah,
work great, right? So you
I have a file.
generally, when you produce a lead magnet, you want to have a landing page and an opt-in form and a thank you page and a follow-up sequence. But if you don't have the infrastructure to deliver any of that, that's fine. Do what
yeah,
Timothy said. A Google form, you put up a QR code at your table or
Hmm.
whatever. You're talking to people instead of just automatically handing them the card that disappears and costs you 15 cents or whatever.
yeah,
It's like, hey, cool, scan this right now because I'm going to send you, and you're literally live explaining the lead magnet. I want to give you this thing. It's just awesome. I made it for
hmm,
everyone here. Just scan. Yep, just put in your name and your email. That way I'll send it to you. Give me 24 hours because, I manually send these out. And
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
I
need
mean,
any
even better, I
tools.
do
Yeah.
already have on my page a section where you trade your email for a like sample audio, 10 minutes long. So I could
yeah,
Yeah.
direct people towards that QR code, I suppose, and they can
Yeah.
submit their email right there. But I should be explaining that live. It's a great idea.
yeah,
Yeah, explain
absolutely.
it. And keep in mind, guys, QR codes, I think you can make them for free in Canva, or there are
Yep.
apps, there are websites. QR codes, there's nothing magic about it. Pykthos has a built-in QR code tool, which is really awesome. You do not need it if you don't have, that wouldn't be like, oh, I have to sign up for Pykthos because it has a QR. There's lots of ways to make QR codes. But so don't let that be a stumbling block for you. If you guys are ever stuck on technology, just email us and ask us for some free options, and we'll probably tell you how to do it.
That's a huge start already. I've got two more questions about this then that I think would
Yeah.
really complete things. So, question number one, what did you find were the best openers when someone they walk by the table, they flash you the smile, you have a chance to say one thing before they walk away. What is the things you say that gets them to actually turn towards the table and stay there for 10 minutes?
Have you ever been
Mm,
hypnotized?
Oh, that's easy.
That is the easiest, fastest way because hypnosis is
yeah.
it makes you the most interesting person in the room. And
Yep.
almost everyone
Yeah.
goes, "What?" And you go, "Have you ever been hypnotized? Do you want to experience it right now?" Whoa, what?
Yeah.
That
And
is
then even
yeah.
I
Okay.
like that. And then on top of that, I would say like because it's kind of a pattern interrupt question, have you ever been hypnotized? It's a yes or no question, but there could be like, that's unusual. Say, do you want to experience something cool right
Yeah.
now?
Always, do you want to see
Yeah.
something cool? I picked that
Yeah.
one
Do you
up
want to
forever
yeah.
ago. I
That's great.
Yeah.
halfway through the market, I figured out that like dictionary balloon, like you want to see something
Hmm.
cool, dictionary balloon, that got people to stay. I had a bunch of people who, the
Brilliant.
moment I dropped it, they just went, and I was like, this is awesome.
Brilliant. Yeah, you give
So
them an aha moment. Remember,
definitely,
guys, in the customer
definitely
value
that.
journey, step 5 is excite. Now you're pushing it much more forward, which is fine because you're allowed to break the rules once you know them. But the whole point of the excite phase of the customer value journey, and we're not going to screen share, we don't have time, but we have like, you got to get awareness, engagement. Generally, then contact information is called subscription. Conversion is where they usually give you a bit of time or money. Now, they've given you their time by showing up to your table. And then when they're getting that time from you, you show them something that gives them an aha moment. They go, oh, and something like a suggestibility test that has them go, whoa, perfect, because that's when you've got them emotionally interested and can hit them with, cool, let me get your contact information and we can follow up. And here's the value pitch.
Thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome.
the final question is a revision of a blunder I made because I know that I messed this up. I am almost sure that this person's never reaching out. But I had someone who walked up with her kid and like again, it's 104 degrees. She looks like she has places to be and she's like I think she's like chewing gum or something, probably nicotine gum. She goes, "How long it would take to get me to quit smoking?" Like ready to do it right then and right there. And my response is,
Yeah.
"Oh, I wasn't planning to do sessions today. Like, I just
Mm.
got." And then the husband walks up and asks how experienced you are with smoke, and I was like, "I've had two smokers. Certainly can do it, but it's not my specialty, but certainly can do it." And I was like, I walked away, and I was like, I am never hearing from that woman again. She was ready
Yeah.
right then and there. I wasn't ready. What should I have said? What should I
Book a
have done?
time, like give me your contact information. I'll follow up. We don't do sessions like that
Hmm.
at the farmers market. It's not the appropriate situation. It takes about an hour. Let me call you, kind of
So I
thing.
should be asking for contact information right then and
Yeah.
there for people
Yeah,
just to make
100%.
sure of
Just
it.
be congruent
Okay.
about your answer and say, yep, that's totally something I can help you with. I've done it before. It's very common use of hypnosis. Can't do it right here, obviously, because it does take, let's say, an hour. Let me get your contact information. We'll follow
Yeah.
up.
And
Okay.
I would absolutely double bind that too. And I would say something along the lines of like, give me your contact information and I'll reach out to you, within the next week. Or would you like to reach out to me when you're ready? That way you can determine their threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I realized too is it's pretty common to make sure that your smoking client shows up having not smoked, so they're already
Correct.
sort of at a certain state you can work with. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there was a lot I could have done, but I think that's the best thing is just like let's get contact info, let's set this up right now. If you're ready right now, let's set this up right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Bingo.
Thank you
Yep.
guys. That was really helpful.
You're welcome,
Oh, you're
Claire.
welcome.
Yeah.
Great. We're glad we were able to help.
Okay.
So that takes us to a little bit past the top of the hour where we will segue over to anyone who wants to stick around. Feel free to do so, and we'll talk about the mastermind. I guess I'll just get ready to stop the recording then, and
Yep.
we will say for the rest
Thanks
of you,
once
if
again.
you're not sticking around,
Yeah.
thanks once
Thanks once
again,
again.
and
And
good
good night.
night.